All right. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Moon on the Moon Base for the Moonday Show. I'm here with Chuck Manley and Devin C. Ford. We talk a little bit about updates and what we're doing, how we're getting through the whole COVID crisis, and just see what happens. Going to hang out. If you have any questions, please drop them in the live chat or probably in Facebook. There's also, you can do this on YouTube too. There's a live chat there, which I have open, but nobody's checked in there yet. So I will try to monitor Facebook to get your questions, comments, or snarky opinions and whatnot. We'll just go into that. So I'll start. Let you guys start off. So what you guys been up to and with things, Chuck?
Just still clicking away at Jack Dark Book 2 while the first one is with Athon. They're doing their thing with that. They don't want to do the series until it's pretty much complete. So that's my big thing. Right now, I've got a short story in the works that I'm going to submit to Weird Tales. The Jonathan Marbury sent out a call for weird stuff. I've just had this idea in my head for a while, so I'm working on that. And also still trying to get Brace Cordova 3 done. And not, run screaming from my house because my family's been home for a month and a half.
What's the title of that short story we talked about? What's your short story title again?
It's called Galactic Murder Clowns 3. It's my homage to 80s campiness.
That just livens my day every time I hear it.
That was the title was kind of the inspiration. Just popped in my head, and I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, do it. That's the whole reason for the show, actually. While we came on, this dark secret of the moon.
Just so I can say Galactic Murder Clowns 3.
Yep, everybody say it. It's good. Share it. Bet you, Dev.
I've got quite a lot going on at the moment. In hindsight, probably not the best move to drop 6 books in spring with the global pandemic thing.
That's a lot.
It's a great time to be selling post-pandemic, post-apocalyptic. Yeah. Anyway, I've just dropped book 9 of After It Happens. That's coming out Bray Audio start of June. I've released the end of the Toy Soldiers 80 Zombie series. Morning, Steve. Thank you. I am speaking English.
It's American, Devin. Speak American.
I'm releasing New Earth 2 Swarm at the weekend. Just got an absolute load going on. I've got editing projects in the works as well, and doing a little bit of a side project, story writing for a docu-series that's looking to be made. Well, on the other side of this.
Right. When people can get together, you do it all. All work from home.
Producers are allowed out of house. Yeah.
Yeah. Steve wants to know. Well, I guess I may leave the questions off. Some of those not contributing. Only ask helpful and positive, constructive things in the chat, please.
Oh my
Corvo
gosh.
is saving his bunker. Good to see you, Corvo. So I've got a lot of projects going. Today I should finish my second, kind of like Chuck. I'm doing an Athon trilogy, and they want all 3 of them basically done, kind of to control all the quality control and marketing and launch date and stuff. So I have we decided on First Strike, Brothers in Arms, the subtitle for the first book, which is been done for a while. 13 Mercenaries is the second book. I should finish that today and then start doing my last minute or final proofreading before it goes to the editor. Start working on that book. Working on another series for Cheney in the future, and then just some of my own stuff. Nothing as cool as Galactic Murder Clowns, but I do have an alien invasion story, which I'm pretty excited about. It's going to come up, and some shorty stuff. I'm always working on the shorty verse and whatnot. Good things. As for what else is going on, I think all 3 of us. The thing that I think is interesting about this conversation is we're all in completely different areas. I'm in Kansas. Chuck, you're Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Devin's in Great Britain, there or thereabouts.
Somewhere.
Right in
the middle of England.
Right in the middle of England. For us continentals, we don't know about the geography as much as we should. So it's different everywhere. How have you guys been doing with that?
Honestly, personally, my routine hasn't changed that much. Everybody's home all the time now, which is, can get a little challenging because there's, people wanting stuff from me, which I don't understand, but hey, it is what it is. But really the only big difference is, I don't go out as much. Like, I used to just jump in the car, run to the grocery store. And now I got to really be out of some stuff before my wife will let me out of the house. To be perfectly honest, she's making masks on her sewing machine. But I mean, she goes I think she may have already left, but I think she actually has to go to the hospital and do a case today.
Right.
So she's kind of getting more of a firsthand look at the impact of it. And I've still got a lot of friends in the medical field that I talk to, and it's easy to like go to Walmart and kind of see, okay, there's really nobody out, and there's not a lot of cars, and they got the lines and everybody's wearing a mask and all this, and just kind of be like, yeah, all right, fine. But you go to the hospitals and that's where the rubber meets the road and it gets real. So when she comes home, my wife has this routine. She'll come home, she puts her shoes and her mask in the garage, and she immediately comes in, throws her clothes in the washer, and gets in the shower, just because she's got to delouse before she comes near anybody. Because she sees all these people that are sick with it, and a lot of times, she heard one doctor say that a lot of times these days, if somebody comes in with COVID and they're positive and they have to go on a ventilator, if they reach the point where they need a ventilator, it's almost a death sentence. It's just so. Yeah. My point is, it's easy to just kind of get into this routine of social distancing and this routine of, don't go out unless you have to and wear the mask and feel fine, and see a whole lot of other people doing the same thing and feeling fine, and kind of forget that there is a harsh reality to the situation still.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter to you unless it gets really close to you. Then it matters probably more than anything. Yeah. I've seen kind of a lot on both sides. I know a lot of people are getting fatigued from the quarantine. I definitely am. My
kids are going nuts.
Yeah. We're wearing out with that. And I know, but I have a lot of people I know that are, they're very much, it's easy here in Kansas to think that's not a big deal. It's all overblown because we have a lot of space. Mm-hmm. Even when we're crammed together, we still have plenty of space and lots of open air. And, everybody drives. Nobody takes public transport. Not a lot of people live in like big apartment buildings or things where you got to share all that space. And so it's really easy to not be packed in. And
well, I mean, that's one of the reasons New York was hit so hard, is because it's all about that population concentration. Mm-hmm. It's so much easier to get exposed in those kind of situations.
Yeah.
So
we did pretty good here. I mean, like the whole, I mean, it was kind of hard to get toilet paper, but we never really had a major problem with it. You'd go and it would be empty, but if you went another day, you'd find some.
Right. It's starting to show up on the shelves again here.
Yeah. And so supply's been pretty good. Devin and I were talking about their food journeys, where you're at, and it's quite a bit different,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to start with this whole self-isolation thing, I got 4 years head start on everyone here. I was already social distancing from 2016. Working from home, I've always been climbed on by kids and cats, and I'm used to this. But now I can't go out. I want to go out every day. So the second I'm told I can't do something, I mean, we've been putting the little ones in the double pushchair and taking a half-hour walk to the local shop because we might need milk in 2 days' time just to get out. And my little boy, he just started nursery the week before lockdown, so he's going stir crazy, wrecking the house, which is why I'm upstairs and not downstairs in the assault course of his toys. But the distances. Driving distances for you are very different to us. I mean, for us, driving 20 minutes to go and find a supermarket, in most places, that's a really long distance. Well, I had to manage to find somewhere I could do a click and collect thing. I drove 20 miles to get there. I missed half of it, so I had to go back. But, I passed 5 supermarkets on the way to get to that. We can get a delivery in 3 weeks' time. It's difficult to get food. I can go to a supermarket, queue up, and go in. But then, we got little kids. One of them's her daughter's very vulnerable medically, so I don't want to run that risk of bringing anything back. It's just a very, very weird time seeing the place deserted. Crossing the road where we normally have to wait for 20 cars to go past, and there's nothing on the road.
Just pull out and go.
It's just surreal. Yeah, it is surreal.
So Corvo asked, do you think these routines will become permanent even after COVID? We've been talking about that at work, and I've wondered about what type of changes there will be, because we've made lots of changes in the police department as to what we respond to and how we respond to it. And so in some ways, there's some things about that is good. Some of it is I don't really like. It's like we have a thing called emergency accident reporting plan. So if you get in a wreck in that bad weather, you can just make the report later at the station, right? And so, but we're doing that permanently all the time. And so what that means is we don't always come out. And as a citizen, that might be their only contact with the police department in years. It feels kind of like you're getting short service, but it makes our life a lot easier. It keeps our contact down and keeps our calls under control.
I think that until we see an available and working vaccine, that a lot of this, maybe not all of this, but a lot of this is going to be the new normal. Well, once there's a vaccine in place, it becomes part of your vaccinations, and things will gradually go back to what they were. But
things like going to the store, like because we used to go like practically every day. Now we go like once a week, so that's a change. Or like people working out at home. I know a lot of people. Like I have a lot of dumbbells, and my wife wanted a pair of 20-pound dumbbells because I finally convinced her to work out in our garage gym, and I can't find them. There's nowhere in the country that you can get a pair of 20-pound dumbbells. Everything's on
right.
So, but so are people going to keep doing that instead of going to gyms? Are they going to do more at home? Are they going to?
Well, I mean, I think it's once the spike kind of dies down, I think people will go out more. I don't see everybody just rushing back to what things were pre-lockdown, pre-COVID. So
there'll be some change. We just don't know what.
Right. Because I mean, there'll still be.
Going to be. No, sorry, Chuck. Go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say there's still going to be people who are walking around, asymptomatic that have been exposed, and they can, pass it. There won't be as many as long as we get that spike down. But I really think the golden bullet is just going to be a vaccine for it, which they'll get, but those things take like a year, 18 months.
Because they got to, even after they get them, they have to test them. And
they got to test them. They got to produce them. They've got to distribute them. I mean, it's going to take time.
Yeah. I think in terms of like economy and working practices over here, at least, we're going to see some long-term changes off the back of it, because the companies that are able to stay open, they're starting to realize that a lot of their workers don't actually need to be in the office. A lot of people are going to find their jobs being remote after this is a long term. It's a cost saving thing.
Yeah, and people who resisted doing the online, like even in my generation, I'm not really wouldn't be excited about working from home if that was part of my job and getting the tech, because we're used to this because we do our podcasts and things. Yeah. But as people are like, well, now I know how to do it. Now I know how to do a remote conference. So why not do those types of things?
Honestly, I think the longest term change we're going to see is in the way the economy works.
Yeah.
I think this is going to have a much larger and longer term impact just on economic lifestyle than anything else.
It seems like places with drive-throughs are killing it right now. We go to Chick-fil-A once or twice a week, and they have amazingly fast service and whatnot.
Ours too. Yeah.
But we go through there, and there's like hundreds of cars there every time we go.
It's crazy.
See, we've got none of our drive-throughs are open. There's a McDonald's about a mile there, not even that, maybe half a mile, and it's been closed up for a month.
They're not even doing drive-through service.
No drive-throughs, deliveries, because deliveries are safe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can get food deliveries, but we haven't. After the first, because we've been self-isolating before the lockdown, so after the first month, and then deciding to put jeans on and realizing that they didn't fit. Instead of like going to the fridge, opening it up, and instead of the light coming on, it says, "What the hell do you want now?"
Opening the door. Letting all the cold air out.
We've actually started eating well, eating a bit cleaner. And I've dropped like 5 pounds last week, which I think was mostly in beer. Yeah, I miss
I think
beer.
you sent them to me.
Yeah. Send them via the intranet and whatnot.
Yeah, I've been buying. Normally, I'm very picky. My family gets mad at me because I'm very picky. I do all the cooking, so I'm very picky about what I feed them, and I buy like fresh vegetables and lean meat, and I do the cooking and I cook everything. I buy ingredients, right?
Right.
Well, since this started, and I'm not allowed to go to the store that often, because if you buy a bunch of fresh stuff, it goes bad. I've been buying the crap they want, like stuff in boxes and and all this, and holy crap. I mean, I've probably put on 6 pounds since this started.
Yeah, good times. What about so what else? I mean, okay, so let's talk about Netflix and video game, or what other things we're doing besides writing to you and your family and things like that. So here we have the first thing we did immediately, as everybody should do in a crisis, is build a giant blanket fort in your basement. So we got that done. And we ordered some like LED strip lightings, which kids think are awesome, and they spend a lot of time down there, and they'll go hunker down and not bother us or do their thing. But we've recently learned that some of the device curfews we have, like for getting to devices, have been violated, because you crawl down into the blanket fort and you find like iPods and laptops, and all the things that are not supposed to be there. So some people got in trouble the other day, but generally they're very good about it. And I know a lot of people watch Netflix. I haven't been watching much. I just, because I'm still working every day and I've been putting up like massive word counts lately, just trying to get through to a place where I can be a little bit more selective and not have like 9 projects working. I don't know. Probably that will never happen. That's just my personality. Yeah. Like, I got another idea. I think we should write a book. I can write 3 books at a time. Why not?
Just keep it down to a manageable 3. Yeah.
Yeah. 3.
I don't know how you do that, man. Yeah. I really don't. I mean, I'm trying to do it now, and I get so, I don't know. I'm just a one-lane kind of writer, I think.
And I think for me, I think it's, I'm not sure it's ideal. It's just what I do. It's like I write to a story until I get mentally fatigued, and then I could either go like watch TV to clear my head, or if I switch to a new project, it's kind of like new juice or something. And so it's kind of an escape. It's not really the best way. I probably should just stick on one project and write on it all day. But a lot of times I'll jump over, like I'll write in the morning on one, and in the afternoon do something else. And hopefully,
I mean, I can do it. It just slows me down on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I need to have, I've only got 3 projects open at the moment. And one of those was only started because I needed, like you said, Scott, I needed something else to get the juice flowing. So I just started another book, put 3,000 words down because I'd stalled in the project I was writing, and got onto, it got the mojo back a bit. So I do my editing in the morning, before I use up all my patience, and then do the creative in the afternoon. But then the evening, when the babies go to bed, that's when we hit the Netflix. Yeah,
we hit them. And so, has anybody watched The Tiger King?
I have not.
Oh yes,
you have. So you'll be
not.
our Tiger King expert. See, now we talk about this, but I've had several experiences in Kansas, not directly with, but reference to tigers since I started in '97. We had a curfew violator or a runaway or something when I was pretty new, and she was all upset and doing their dramatics. Like, I can't go home. I'm in so much trouble. My dad has a tiger and he's going to be mad. Like, calm down. Your dad's not going to feed you to the tiger. That doesn't happen in real life and things like that. Well, I found out the guy actually did have a tiger farm out here near where we live. And then years later, I got on the SWAT team. We did some training with some guys from McPherson, and one of them said that they had to go out on a call where the tiger got out, because the story got started because they're like, yeah, you can kill a tiger with an M4, because they had to shoot a tiger with an M4. Now, they could have been completely full of shit and make up a story, but they seemed like they were telling the truth. And so after the Tiger King comes out, now we realize we have thousands and thousands of tigers in North America, and that if there ever is a true post-apocalypse scenario, there's going to be some tigers.
There's going to be tigers.
There's going to be some crazy, weird shit animals out here. When I was growing up, they had a flood. It happened probably in the 50s, but I remember hearing about this when I was growing up in Garden City, Kansas, which is flat, desert basically. And they had a flood, and the hippo escaped. and nobody ever found the hippo. So I always have this idea that there's a big colony of hippos someplace wandering around with tigers. And I don't know.
Oh
Anyway.
my gosh. Facebook user says Scott is the Coyote King.
Yeah. Yeah, I am the coyote. I love coyotes. We always throw in a couple of coyotes to liven things up.
Hey, well, you ended up with the getting the coyote in my last trilogy I wrote with Nathan.
Oh, yeah?
Coyote in that for you.
There
Yeah.
you go. See,
Yeah.
well, thanks. I appreciate that. That helps me out. Ellen said she's got no basement. So I guess if people are using this, you can go on the Facebook post in my group. There's a link you can click, and then you can register through StreamYard so that your comments show up with your name. Otherwise, you show up as Facebook user, and I got to flip back and forth. I'm not very agile on the mouse today. So let's see. We got some comments here. Earlier, somebody asked if I had a blue screen going, and that's actually I've been moving my lights around because when we do the podcast in Keystroke Medium, they shine in my face. And so I actually have the lights facing opposite directions. So here's one of the lights there. I think that's going to be my.
That's dramatic, man.
If we do a noir episode, that's going to be my noir.
You should do you should read a short story or something with that.
Yeah. I'll time for the ad read.
There you go.
I'll do that. I want to do a shout out to Jonathan Yanez and Stevie Collier a little bit later. They have a book coming out called I Am Mech. It's brand new. So we'll make sure we give that some attention later. There was a question about will these routines become permanent? And, who knows? Let's see. So we got some support for Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A. Working from home is big. Yeah, let's see what else I got. Let's see. So some Corvo says, it was a train wreck of a story there for the Tiger King. So I haven't watched it, but I've had people at work talking about it all the time. Of course, seen the thousands of memes. Right. Just reinforces the things about Netflix. And as a writer, I'm hoping that nothing to get Netflix, but I think people will get in this quarantine era that people will eventually get burnt out with. That's the problem with writing is I love books. I know a lot of people love books and reading stories, but you got to compete with some really high quality other forms of entertainment like video games and a new Netflix series of the day. There has to be 1,000 more options for watching a series than there was in the 80s and 90s when I was
easily.
And most of them are pretty good. I mean, you will get your entertainment out of most of them. So, but I think people are going to get Netflix fatigue eventually. And I think that maybe some people come back around to reading. I sure hope so, because I got a vested interest in that. But
yeah.
See, people say they're reading, but people are on Twitter saying they love a good book, but no one's really reading at the moment because they are catching up on all the Netflix, doing what's the term you use for it? Do the honeydews.
List.
Right.
The long list of stuff that you said you're going to get around to it.
I don't have time
to keep reminding me every 3 months. Yeah. All those lists of stuff that he's doing. I mean, my garden's looking good. People are adapting to being inside their own way, and I do think the longer it goes on, the more people are going to actually start reading more. I think probably what's suffered more is the listening, because if people aren't commuting, they're not listening to their audiobooks in the cars.
Right.
Yeah. Or what?
And you said about there are so many like really good, easy entertainment options on your Amazon, on your Netflix, on your Disney Plus, but there are also some absolute clangers of like you get 10 minutes into it, and you think whoever put money into making this.
Oh yeah.
And just that kind of there's someone with some stories that are readable. It kind of hurts my feelings a little bit to see that someone actually got that made.
Right.
Yeah. How many times have you gone to a movie and said, if they would have let me write this movie with this budget,
it would have been so much better.
Yeah. We all say that.
Yeah.
1.5 million per
episode. Yeah.
What was your opinion of Tiger King, Devin?
It was without doubt the most outrageous car crash TV I have ever seen in my life.
I like that description.
I said that to my wife, she literally watched 10 minutes of it, and she actually got up and went, "It's too weird for me," and left the room.
Yeah.
So I carried on watching it, and every episode my eyes got wider and wider, and I said to her, and I finished it, as if I'd written one of those characters into a book, people would stop reading my work because there's no way that's even slightly believable.
Yeah.
These people are that weird.
Yeah.
And I put something on my fan group, and I've had people saying, I'm in Oklahoma, and please believe me, this is not what we're like.
No. A small niche. Every part of the country's probably got some little. I didn't watch it, but I watched the pitch session one, and it went through all the highlights. I thought it was hilarious. But one of the person who first told me about it was another coworker, and was talking about the Tiger King, and says that the tiger, someplace in there, they're talking about how weird the monkey people are. So apparently there's a whole other group of people that raise monkeys and primates and stuff, and I can imagine that could be quite a train wreck of drama and chaos.
Gosh.
But
I find myself living in Alabama saying that we're not like that thing a lot too.
Oh no, yeah,
because we have a rep, but deserve it or not,
reputation.
But it's like, hey, Rocket City, baby, we got engineers and rednecks, but they're smart rednecks.
It's a balance.
It's a balance.
When in 1988, when I was 18 years old, I went to Hollywood, California to play the guitar, and I worked at a hotel on the evenings.
Dude, I was in California in '88.
We probably saw each other. We're like, that
probably did.
Stay away from that guy. He looks scary.
Dude, I was 6.
So did you see a guy with like waist length long hair, probably both color, with his stonewashed jeans tucked into his cowboy boots? Because that was probably me. And the sleeves. Yeah, it was probably
Hollywood in '88 was crazy.
Yeah, but the thing, I bring it up because I would tell people that were there, because I overheard these two young women talking about how they'd taken a train from like New York to LA. Because when you're in the 80s, at least, it's probably still the same way, is just being in Southern California is the goal. I'm like, oh yeah, you came out here. What's your goal? I mean, what you do? You're going to be an actor? You're going to be
there.
And they're like, well, I'm in California. I'm like, but what's your plan? I'm in California. I'm like, are you going to do something?
Bragging rights.
Any type of something to sustain your life? We're in California. I'm like, well, good for us. Yeah. But
there is no phase 2.
But there's no phase 2. But they were talking about how they'd seen cows on the train. And they were just really excited. They had looked out the window and there's a whole bunch of cows just walking around wherever they wanted to.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that just never they never get there, man.
And so I convinced a lot of people around that time that we still mostly had dirt roads, that we still mostly used horses and carriages, and all this list of things straight out of like a Western movie, and they bought it 100%.
I had a guy ask me one time when he found out I was from Alabama, he said I didn't sound like it. And I was like, yeah, it's just something I worked on because I moved around a lot. But he asked me, in all dead seriousness, he says, I heard that you guys still secretly keep slaves. Is that true?
And he believed it.
And I said, yes.
Oh, God. That's for all the. Now we're going to have a revolution.
We don't. To anyone that needs
disclaimer. That was.
But sometimes you just have to indulge the idiots.
Yeah, it's easy just to say yes and walk away with people like that.
Yeah. Now, having said that, in the town I grew up in, Garden City, there were still laws on the books when I was in high school, because our history teacher was telling us about them and he would show them to us. And there was a law at the time, this had been in the 80s, that when you came into town in your vehicle, you had to stop if you saw a horse and pull over and park until the horse passed you. And then there's rules about, like, if you came to a corner, you had to stop your car, turn it off, fire a pistol in the air so they know you're coming around the corner, and get back in your car and drive around the corner, and all this stuff, because you want to scare the horses or drive off the people who are doing legitimate business instead of that. But, those things don't always get taken off. There's a lot of weird, archaic laws that are still on the books, I'm sure.
We had one about putting salt on railroad tracks that a friend of mine told me about.
You're not supposed to?
You're not supposed to pour salt on railroad tracks.
We used to go out and put pennies or quarters, usually pennies, because the quarter would be crazy. And then the idea is that it flattens it out.
Right. Yeah. Like those machines at amusement parks.
Yeah, but usually what happens is you put the penny on the railroad track and then you stand there trying to act like you're not doing anything as the train goes by. And then you go back and your penny's gone. So
yeah, blown out wherever.
Like you didn't.
We've got a strange law over here in a town about an hour and a half away, or city. It's on the border between England and Wales. So there's border. There's no border, but it is the official border between England and Wales. And there, it's still actually legal to shoot a Welshman with a longbow, but only with a longbow. It's dependent on. I can't remember the exact wording, but it has to be on a Sunday and it has to be in a certain road where it's legal. And I was just thinking, just get a longbow, go stand there on a Sunday, check around anyone wearing a Wales shirt, and yeah, I don't know how that would hold up.
Yeah, it's the law.
It's the law.
That's
Yeah, but the law didn't say you had to go and intentionally do it. I think it's
right.
something
They're
about
requiring you to do this.
no.
Yeah, not a longbow shootings.
Well, law's open to interpretation.
Yeah, you got to get some expert witnesses. This is technically a traditional longbow.
That's right.
Rick says, "Save the whales." So I think that's in reference to that. Awesome. Well, I just had my interloper, one of my children's. They want to go take a walk and stuff. So I'll probably be signing out unless you guys got more you want to cover. And
No, man, this was fun.
it is good.
Little
good.
daytime thing. I'm actually standing up and sober.
It's fantastic. Let me. I'm gonna do an ad read though, since we're almost done. So Jonathan Yanez and Stevie Collier they just released a new book called "I Am Mech," a mecha space opera adventure, Metal Fury Book 1. They do a lot to help me out, so I told them I would promote it, and I'm going to read this ad read here. Oh, if I can make
Do the light.
Oh, did I do the light here? Let me go back and get the dramatic lighting.
Do the voiceover voice.
Have some moody lights and stuff.
There you go.
Okay. It says, I Am Mech, a mecha space opera adventure, Metal Fury Book 1. His job was to dig for resources, but now he's unearthed a sinister plot. To stop this encroaching doom, the people cry out for a hero. Instead, they get Jack. This ace mech pilot contends with legendary prophecies, ancient powers, and fickle companions as he sets out on an epic task to save the planet from a baddie hell-bent on destruction. Has his positive self-talk got him too deep, or will he actually pull through and do some good this time? In I Am Mech is a non-stop roller coaster ride of adventure full of snarky humor and more than a few spit out your drink moments. For fans of Gateway to the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy, or anything else with the word galaxy in it, download it now. It's an entertaining good time. So a lot of people know about Jonathan and Stevie, so check out their book, I Am Mech, and tell them I sent you. That's
Very
all.
cool.
That's it.
The lighting made it.
Yeah, turn it back on. I don't
You
want to
can hear the
dramatic.
lighting in your voice.
You can't have drama all the time, right?
No, good God, no.
Have some disco lights next time. But yeah, well, thanks for coming and hanging out, guys. Appreciate it. Maybe we can get together again and just shoot the breeze.
Sounds good, man.
This is how we deal with quarantine, because we got friends that are good at it.
There you go.
All right. Everybody take care. See you next time.
Laters.
Bye.